Ink. What the story of civilization is written with.
Ink? Why ink? Ink, because kingdoms needed records to be maintained. Regions needed edicts to be transported. Knowledge needed to be passed on. Sermons needed codification for dissemination. And because teachers needed to conduct examinations.
Early civilizations, including Egyptians, Indians, and Chinese, used lamp soot to make inks.
Some others used different rocks and minerals. Later, iron gall inks became popular in Europe, followed by pigment and dye-based inks.
To cut a long story short, let us begin with iron gall inks.
The Dead Sea Scrolls were written with it. Leonardo da Vinci used it for his sketches. Bach composed his music using it. Shakespeare punned on it. And the US government used it for official purposes till after World War II.
But what is ink made of?
Water, coloring agent, a dye, or a pigment, binder, or additive, and some trace elements.
No rocket science, surely.
Yet, there was no Swadeshi ink, and Gandhi ji hated using imported inks in his pen as he wrote against injustice. He asked his followers to make ink for him to use.
Two freedom fighter brothers,
Nanigopal and Shankaracharya Maitra,
took up the challenge.
Sulekha was born in Rajshahi, which is now in Bangladesh. The year was 1934. 100% Swadeshi ink, capable of taking on anything that was then imported from anywhere in the world.
Post-independence,
Sulekha became the ink makers of the nation, the biggest and the best. They exported to the far corners of the world, where they competed successfully with all the global majors. In 1982, Sulekha went all the way to Africa to set up an ink factory in Kenya.
Then in the late 1980s, Sulekha was forced to down shutters.
This was brought about by a shift to cheap dot pens, unfavorable business environment, and other socio-economic political reasons.
But why are we telling you a story that ended more than 3 decades ago?
Because Sulekha is doing a phoenix, and the story needs to be told, as much for Sulekha's remarkable resurgence as for your benefit. Because Sulekha is a Swadeshi entity with values moored in Gantian principles. Because Sulekha is a sustainable producer with a zero carbon footprint. Because Sulekha is an equal opportunity employer. Because it is an ethically driven entity.
But more importantly, because Sulekha is the need of the hour. Because fountain pen and ink provide the most sustainable writing option.
Use and throw pens, apart from being carbon guzzlers, choke our drainage and riverine systems, ending up on the ocean floors. The result is runaway pollution. The dot pens need huge pressure to write, and have robbed generations of the pleasure of writing, paving the way for finger fatigue and different types of arthritis. Pushing the young into a digital black hole. Ultimately leading to lower knowledge retention and exacerbating psycho-somatic issues, including depression.
The pandemic and the lockdown that followed
has only made the situation worse.
That is why globally,
there is a shift towards the fountain pen and ink, with many schools reintroducing children to the art of writing with pen and ink, and adults picking up the pen as a hobby and as a writing aid, using pen and ink for cathartic effect. Fountain pens and inks are making a huge comeback.
And Swadeshi Sulekha, the concerned corporate citizen,
is spearheading the drive to expose children to pen and ink, to the art of lettering and calligraphy, to spread the dictum of sustainable living, to help you retain knowledge better, to celebrate your march ahead.
Ink up. We have miles to write before we sleep.